there's been a number of accomplishments that the UBP has been part of, making changes and, being effective for the bow hunting community over the years.
We need all our NGOs. It's so important that we all partner together.
We all had somebody that gave us that spark. It put us, put it in our blood.
I always believe only a hunter can make a hunter.
Great camaraderie here. I mean, people come together, and when you're here, everybody's helping everybody else out.
We had a 72-year-old woman harvest her first deer. I got to tell you, it was the most emotional thing that I've ever experienced.
Hello and welcome to Call of the Outdoors, the podcast of the Pennsylvania Game Commission. Archery season's here. I mean, we're on a couple days away from statewide archery season, but today we're sitting in 5C, where archery season came in on the 20th of September, and we're at a very special event. We're down here in the middle of deer camp for the United Bowhunters of Pennsylvania and your annual doe hunt. And got two very special guests here today. One of them is no stranger to a lot of us, Commissioner Bob Schwalm, and I don't know your title, Dan, but Dan Smoker from the
United Bowhunters of Pennsylvania, county rep for Berks County.
Awesome. Yep. Awesome. Well, thanks for having us, first of all. It's kind of cool to come to deer camp. Weather's not really cooperating, but look, we haven't had rain in so long.
Yeah,
we're kind of soaking this up. And the animals are going to be soaking it up here, and it looks like it's going to be a good weekend.
Well, the farmers needed it, but almost every year though we always wind up with some precipitation over this event. So fortunately, this year it wasn't at least a hurricane. We've had a few hurricanes we've had to endure, so this year it's not too bad. So hopefully it won't affect the hunt too much.
We got to be tough.
We got to be tough.
That's right. So Dan, just tell us a little bit about yourself and your involvement here with UBP.
Sure. So I've been UBP member for probably close to 30 years, I guess, and been a life member for probably about 25 of those years, and jumped in as a county rep and tried to help run a few events. Been involved with this event for probably close to its total since its inception. First few years that I wasn't involved, it was a smaller get together, but when it evolved and got a little bit bigger, I got pulled in and been working with the group ever since, right? So it's been great seeing it grow, and it's been great growing it and seeing all the people that come out every year and meeting a lot of new faces and getting a lot of new people involved in the sport. So
awesome. So Bob, if we had a cricket catching contest in Pennsylvania, you would be there and you'd be volunteering, because you are involved with so many organizations and obviously sit on our board of commissioners. But tell us a little bit about the United Bowhunters.
I've been a member for a very long time. I'm a life member, and I've always been, involved in their different programs. They run a disabled hunter program, which is top notch, and you helped me with that. We participate in the sporting clays to help them raise funds so they can send.
You took us to school in the sporting clay shoot.
Well, I got lucky, but the UBP has always been one of my passions. I've always been very much involved and enjoy doing all the different events that they offer, like this one. This is a great time. It's a great hunt, and excuse me. And it's a good opportunity, especially for families. You'll see some parents here with their children, and we got some mentees here from John Hines. So there's so many great opportunities for hunters, helping hunters, at this event.
I tell everybody, no matter where you're at, if you're a hunter, or a volunteer at an organization, we're all in this together.
Yep.
We have to make sure that we're going, that there's lots of stuff out there for the future generations, and that's our job at the agency. When you look at our mission statement, I mean, it's it's protecting what's here now for later on when we're all gone, and what y'all are doing is incredible. Talk a little bit about United Bowhunters and what the organization is.
So, the United Bowhunters is a statewide archery organization, and we've represented the voice of the bow hunting community for years. We go out and participate in the Game Commission meetings, let our voice be heard.
We come yell at us?
Come yell at you. We come and, we say, hey, our membership is interested in this, an extra couple days are here, or, with the Sunday hunting, of course, we were a big proponent of the Sunday hunting. We've worked for extended seasons. We worked to get the bow hunting safety distance reduced to 50 yards for your safety zone. So there's been a number of accomplishments that the UBP has been part of, making changes and, being effective for the bow hunting community over the years.
Awesome. And talk about that too as a commissioner, Bob, how important it is to hear those voices out there from groups, from individuals. Like I said, we're all in this together, and I think it's important from your seat there of how much that means to you.
It's so valuable to have NGOs that, not only give you feedback. The UBP don't yell at you, but they'll let you know if you're not following suit. But for the most part, we need all our NGOs. It's so important that we all partner together, because you said it best earlier. We're all on the same page, and we've got to get this all together where we're united. And, doing programs like this is great. I wish that more NGOs would step up and offer these kind of programs where you can get people out and get people together and bring, new hunters into the mix. So I always believe only a hunter can make a hunter. So if you have hunters involved with new hunters, you're going to have nothing but a positive a response from that.
Right. We all had somebody that gave us that spark. It put us, put it in our blood. I mean, we're born with it, and in today's world, even more, we need to all join together and do that. I mean, and we can talk about that, on episodes to come, and talk about that R3 and talk about recruiting and retaining. And we're just so lucky to live in a state that is just full of that passion. And as we see here today,
Yep.
And let's talk about the hunt here that's happening here in 5C. You all are lucky to get a little bit of a couple weeks before the statewide season starts.
Yeah, we get a little bit of a head start. And one of the things we always hear from our participants is that, hey, it's great to come here if I don't live in the area. I'm coming from out of state where it's not even, archery season yet. And I can come down here and work out the cobwebs, You get into your stand and you're like, oh, I forgot my binoculars, It's like, so all that kind of stuff you don't really think about until, the first time you really hit the woods. And so it's kind of fun to see guys come out and, just work through all those kinks and get back in the flow again for this year, for this season.
Get all the cobwebs out.
Yeah, get the cobwebs out, you get back to your basics. Remember how to use your climber, all that good stuff. So it's, we hear that every year. It's like guys say, hey, I like to come here just so that I can, this is like my preseason, right?
So you get about how many hunters as an average?
We've averaged anywhere from, usually we don't get much below 40, usually 44. The year right after COVID, we had a record of like 83 or something like that came out. So that year, everybody had cabin fever. Everybody wanted to get out. So, we had people showing up in droves that year to come out. But the weather was also really good. Unfortunately, again, with the weather today, we had a couple people call and say, yeah, we're not going to come up and camp out because it's just going to be miserable. But, the diehards are here. And, that's, everybody's here to have a good time. And we have a good time whether it's raining or sunny, either way. So
let me ask you this question. This is pretty serious. Is there any BSing that happens at this hunt?
Oh, no, none at all now. We've got, the great thing here is that we've got people that have come in here that didn't know anybody, became good friends, right? Everybody's exchanging text numbers, and then you're, sending pictures back and forth. And then every year you show up and somebody's razzing somebody for something that happened the year before, or, we're bringing up pictures from last year's event, and it's just a great time. So,
Absolutely.
It's deer camp,
That's
but it's
right.
deer camp like times two. So it's a great opportunity. You're not going to, find a standard deer camp that's going to have 45 people or so out, running around. And, again, the big thing is that you've got people coming in from all different areas of the state, and people come together. And when you're here, everybody's helping everybody else out. People come in and say, oh, I got a problem with my bow, or I got a problem with my rest, and somebody will say, here, let me take a look at that. So, so it's great camaraderie here. You can't get any better than what we experience here.
I would have a problem with my drag rope. I'd need some help with somebody with a good drag rope if I was successful.
And I tell you what, that's one of the great benefits, because, we have a couple properties here that are in some really steep hills or got a steep ravine somewhere, and guys call up and say, hey, I got a deer, but I'm gonna need a couple guys to come help me get it out. And we'll get 4 guys in a car, that have already come in for the night. We'll send them out. They'll go help somebody, they'll go help drag a deer out for them. So, it's all about the teamwork. So.
That's right.
And the best part of the night is when you see the headlights come in and they pull over and they stop over at the hanging rope. you know that somebody's going to, pulling up to get their deer weighed. So, that's when everybody kind of congregates around and everybody's waiting to see what the weight is every deer that comes in. So,
I've been fortunate to travel the country and talk to lots of people about hunting. And the coolest thing about being a hunter is no matter where you go in this country, if you get in the conversation about being a hunter, you have a friend for life, or you really do. I mean, there's been so many friendships, so many campfires shared, and the passion remains the same no matter where. But how long have you been coming to this hunt?
I've been off and on, and I've been here. I got back into it last year, and when I came down here, I just fell in love with it.
Right.
And like Dan said, all the people you meet, and you create friendships forever. I mean, the whole concept here is we're out helping farmers, okay, with their problem. At the same time, you're harvesting an animal that you can donate to hunters, sharing the harvest, which you're helping needy families, and you're doing what you love.
Right.
What a great idea. I love it. And they've been doing this for so long. It's a wonderful program.
Yeah. How long has this event been happening?
So this is our 21st official year. Started out with a couple guys that just decided to get together and go hunt. I think it was State Game Lands 205, if I'm not incorrect. And they just said, hey, let's just get together for the weekend, just go out and see if we can get a doe. Just go harvest a doe. We're not worried about trying to shoot a buck. And they had such a great time doing it. They said, let's do that again next year, So they did that again the following year, got a few guys together. Next thing you know, there's a dozen people, and they're camping out in somebody's backyard. And we started getting so big that we couldn't fit in the backyard anymore. So fortunately, we found this campground that wasn't too far away, and it was kind of centrally located on a lot of the properties we hunt. And, we basically take this over for the weekend now, and we come in here and, we basically just run the place for the weekend, and it's all ours to do as we want. We've got showers, baths, everything here that you need to, have some of the creature comforts.
Right.
But, we've got guys that are, camping out in tents, all the way up to, towable trailers. So, you got hookups, guys coming in with generators, running their electric, watching TV.
Roughing it.
So roughing it in comfort. So.
That's right.
Anyway,
and when you talk about the camp life that's here, you think about, deer camp. This is deer camp. I mean, y'all are having a celebration for hunting and conservation. Like you said, Bob, donating the venison to places for folks that need it. I mean, but let's talk about the farmers and how you line that up and for, folks to go out there and the way you work with farmers, and just to give some encouragement that as hunters, relationships are what it's all about. You go out and talk to people, and there's a lot of times you're helping that farmer out. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we go out. We went out. We knock on doors. We just keep getting a lot of no's. But you just stay persistent. Get these farms and get them enrolled. With our program, and then they get to know us. They get to know what we're all about. And, as far as helping the farmers, we had one of the farmers just called me up the other week and said, hey, we just went to do a yield for a corn yield on one of our farms, and we're only going to get 35 bushels per acre, where we should be getting 200 to 225. Mm-hmm. So, that's, only 15% of what the yield should be on that farm. And, he's got soybean that's only 6 inches high because it's just getting mowed down. So, from that aspect, that's a financial impact on these farmers, right? So we go out there, we help them by, knocking the deer numbers down. And again, going after doe specifically, that's, the big conservative part of the, hunt is to knock the doe numbers down, because, shooting a buck isn't going to do you as much as reducing population as the shooting a doe. So, so they love it when we come out and we say, hey, we're here to hunt doe. Because everybody always says, hey, can I come hunt buck?
Right.
So that's gotten us into a few farms where we might not have gotten in otherwise.
When you look at our passion in Pennsylvania, and it's one of the issues that we face when you talk about that. Even myself, until I came to the Game Commission, I didn't realize how important harvesting antlerless or does was. And you just hit the nail on the head, because we all want to go out there and have a trophy buck or whatever our trophy is come by us, and that's what we're after. But as we go forward, in today's day and age, when you look at especially places like this, when your population is more than the land should hold, the hunters are the first line of defense, and we all need to take that mentality and and applaud you for what y'all are doing, and you're making fun with it. You're having a good time doing it.
We're having a good time. I mean, it's gotten to the point where the farmers are actually texting me now saying, hey, share my number with the hunters that you're going to send out to my farm because I can tell them exactly where to go.
Right.
So that, when you get to that point where the farmers are literally meeting hunters, actually, we just had a couple guys come in and they said, yeah, the farmer told us to come meet him today at noon because he wants to show me a couple spots where, where they're going to be at. So, I mean, the farmers are, doing what they can to help us out as well, because they want the deer taken.
Or they might need help with some baling of the hay or milking the cows or something like that.
Yeah, we've done that too.
I bet you've baled some hay in your life.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
I always get welcome back.
Yep, that's exactly right. And that's something that a lot of folks, everybody's scared of rejection when you go to ask permission. And it happens. I mean,
it happens.
You might knock on 100 doors, but that's the only way that we can form those relationships with landowners and farmers, and we're experiencing, this year we have the pilot program of certified hunter in the southwest part of the state, where we're taking kind of your model. It's not really deer camp, but we're having a group of hunters that certify to go help these farmers, in times of need. I mean, when you got 6-inch soybeans and you have $10,000, whatever you have in input, and you lose all that money, I mean, farmers are the lifeblood of this country.
Right.
So when you obviously we talked about camping. You can see the campers in the background and the camp life. I'm sure at night you're having a good time. And somebody said something about a pig roast at the end of the hunt. That we definitely picked the wrong day to come here.
Right. Yeah, well, you could have picked Friday, too, because Friday night's pizza night. So we do pizza night Friday. Saturday night's the pig roast.
I'm blaming that on Tyler.
So Tyler's got to do a better job coordinating the meals. But, so
But the bologna sandwich was awesome. Sorry.
Yeah, well, the best part is that we've got guys coming in, bringing venison chili, venison barbecue, and they're setting it all out, and it's all, it's there for whoever wants to come make a sandwich. Somebody's got a grill going, they're making fries in a deep fryer or whatever. It's like, hey, just come and enjoy. And, somebody makes a dish and people go and, partake of that one, and then somebody else is making something else. And it's so you kind of just like moseying around, just picking and choosing what you want to.
It's like a Penn State tailgate.
That's what it is. It's like deer camp tailgating, right? Yeah. I mean, and that's really what it comes down to. So
awesome. So if I was a hunter, I wanted to come down next year. How do I go about doing that?
Well, for starters, join the UBP.
Okay.
All right. And then you'll get all of our emails, all of our information about the hunt. We're always the very first week after the opening day. So we always break camp. We start camp on the Wednesday after. We set everything up. People come in. We get properties out to some of the people. They go out, scout that night, get stands set up, and then we're ready to hunt Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So, Saturday night we have our final weigh-ins. We, figure out who got the biggest doe for bragging rights. And then, Sunday we break camp and everybody goes home. So, it's just a quick 3 days. It's like here and gone before you know it. But, if you get the emails about, coming down, you could show up next year. Hopefully we'll have an online registration. You can register before you get here. But if you don't register before you get here, even if you're not a member, you can even just show up, right? You can do your membership right here online. Get set up, come in, pay the admin fees for the camp for the overhead costs, and prepay for your meals, and then you're ready to go. You just pop a tent up or bring a trailer in, or camper in, or whatever you want to bring in.
And with that membership of UBP, you're supporting the mission of United Bowhunters,
right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. And like we keep saying, we all need to do a better job. You're kind of my hero in that one, Bob, because. I said it as a joke, but I commend you for all of the volunteerism that you do to all the organizations, and there's nobody in this state that does more in the mentoring side as a volunteer, because I know how important kids are to you, and whether it's not only kids but adults, and just trying to light that fire to make sure that the next generation of hunters are here. And like you said earlier, as we get older too, that next generation, those folks that we help, can help us out when we age.
See, everybody thinks I do this because I care about hunting. Well, I'm actually very selfish, and I'm looking at it with all the folks that I've mentored throughout the years. When I do become an old fogey and I can't get out the door, hopefully they'll come and say, "Hey, Bob, you want to go hunting?" So there is an ulterior motive behind it. No, it's very enjoyable. I love sharing my passion. and with youngsters and adults. And we have some mentees in camp that we've been hunting with, and to see their passion and how, had them out this morning in that pouring rain, and they were there. They hunted. They gave it their best. You couldn't see 2 feet in front of you, but we were out there.
And you were in a climber this morning?
We were in a climber, yes.
You got any advice for that?
Bring your umbrella next time.
And make sure you're strapped in, right?
Oh, we were strapped in,
Yeah.
yes. That's mandatory here. You have to wear a safety harness if you're in an elevated stand.
Yeah, if you want to get off the ground, you got to have your safety harness on.
So talk about like that transition. Like you said, there's some folks that came from John Hines. Talk about that event a little bit. As we've done it at the agency, I think 4, 5, 6 years now. And
it's about 6 years now, yeah.
And how you're seeing those folks branch out from that initial start down there in Philadelphia.
That's a great program, and the agency has been doing it, like you said, for 6 years, and they begin with Hunter Ed on steroids. I mean, they cover every aspect, and then also with shooting. And down there, we primarily hunt with crossbows. But, the neat thing is you have so many Hunter Ed instructors from across the state that come down there and not just, mentor, but they're with these folks throughout the whole day. So these people that get involved in hunting, and it ranges from ages 12 to 72. We had a 72-year-old woman harvest her first deer. I got to tell you, it was the most emotional thing that I've ever experienced. And I can relate to that, because when someone that you take out hunting harvests the deer, it's just like, you remember back when you did that. But we've been doing a pretty good job, the agency down there. And what's nice about it, like this year we had over 100 folks sign up. The problem being is we don't have enough mentors, to be able to accommodate everybody. It breaks my heart that we have somebody that's interested enough to come in, and we can't accommodate that. So hopefully in the future, we can get more people to step up to the plate. It's a great opportunity to get out, and just like hunting camp, you get to meet so many neat people and you become good friends. Like here, I have a couple folks that have come up from John Hines, a gentleman with me, Sean Kelly, and I got to meet him in the blind, and his passion for hunting, like just, we hit it off right off the bat. Doing some turkey hunting together, doing this.
You like the turkey hunt?
A little bit. It kills the time. You pass the time with that. Oh, turkey hunting. But it's something that's really taken off. And again, we need more people to step up. We need more people to get involved as mentors. We need more NGOs to start taking that lead, because, like I said before, only a hunter can make a hunter. And if we want to save this for the future, we need to get more people involved, and not just kids. I mean, adults. Sometimes it just takes a nudge. Just give them a nudge,
Or
get them out in the
or
woods.
71-year-old,
72-year-old woman, and to see her, and now that very same woman and her daughters involved, they stand out in front of stores in Philadelphia and promote this to invite people to come and try hunting.
Right, that's awesome.
And this is in the city of Philadelphia, which is so wonderful. And now this year, the agency is going to do a mentored hunt out in the western part of the state, which we're covering both ends now.
Right.
But again, if we could get more people to step up and do this, we could turn this thing around.
It takes manpower.
It takes manpower.
It does, and that's kind of why we're here. The encouragement, for folks to, there's a lot of people in Pennsylvania, there's a lot of bow hunters that aren't familiar with UBP. I mean, it's just how it is, and when you look at bow hunting, you look at some states that really have political battles when it comes to bow hunting. We're lucky to have the passion here in Pennsylvania, but we're lucky to have folks like you that are out there keeping things straight, and at least coming and having conversations with state agencies or other NGOs or just hunters in general. I mean, I know since I was a kid, it didn't matter if you went to Cabela's or wherever you went, UBP was out there in front of people, and it takes an army to do that, and it takes people that are willing to volunteer their time and get that done.
Yep.
But I know that you had talked earlier, like there are some opportunities if you come here that you can that you could shoot a buck though, right? Correct, on some properties?
Yeah, we actually have a couple farms that, the farmers, of course, want as many deer removed as possible. So, if you came and you have one 5C tag, people that live out of the 5C area, sometimes they just buy one 5C tag just so they can come here. Sure. And if they fill that on day one, sometimes we say, well, you can either go over to the game lands where you're across the street and hunt for buck if you want, or, we do have the opportunity for some of the farms that if guys have shot a doe, then they've done their part in helping with the doe numbers. And the farmers say, go ahead now, if you want to go after a buck, go ahead. So we call it our Earn a Buck farms.
Sure.
So, similar to like, what you do like over in New Jersey, I think there's an Earn a Buck program over there too. It works the same way here. You shoot a doe first, and then you get the opportunity to go after a buck if you're on one of those farms.
And the nice thing about this WMU is 5C. There's tags left today. So,
yeah.
I mean, the opportunity's there because, there's our herd's plentiful in this area, number
Very
one.
much.
And, farmers and landowners need the help so we can grow trees and crops and all that stuff. But, we were talking earlier, too, about bear opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
We have a population of bears around here, and they're pretty much fair game, right?
Yes, they are. Absolutely. They're open. So if it's open season, the bears do just as much, if not more damage sometimes than a single deer will do. So, we had the opportunity a couple of years ago. We had a guy that went out and, went to scout one of the farms, and the farmer told him, hey, got a bear here. He ran out, had a bear tags, came back and asked us if it was okay to shoot a bear. We said, sure. And that night he called one of our guys and said, hey, you need to come. I need some help here.
I imagine.
And, it turns out that he had I think it was like almost like 390 pound bear. So we've only had one. But, it's like the opportunity is always there. We've had guys that came back and said, I had a bear sniff in the back of my blind. They're sitting in a blind. They said, I can hear the bear breathing right behind my blind, and he just wouldn't come out in front.
Did he want to go back to that blind the next day, or was he?
Yeah, no,
okay.
he did. He wanted to get his crack at the bear. So, but there's opportunities. You just never know. Being located right where we're located, we're not that far off the Blue Mountain, and bears can come into any one of these farms. They might not be there on day one. You're there hunting on day 3, and all of a sudden you got a bear.
Right.
So you just never know. You never know what's going to show up.
Right.
So.
This is just personal. How's the turkey population down in this country?
Actually, we had a few guys come back in today saying, hey, I saw a bunch of turkeys today. One guy came in and said, I climbed up a tree. I had one roosted in the tree that was above me. He says he scared the heck out of him when he, got up into the tree and the turkey flew out. He was like, whoa. But, so, I mean, that's great to see the turkey population,
right.
bouncing back down here because it definitely ebbs and flows from year to year.
And there was a time, and you can remember when there wasn't turkeys in this part of the country. I mean,
yes.
when anytime you get out of the mountains, so it's great to see that. I know I'm not allowed to, I was sworn not to talk about turkeys today too much, but that's usually the first question that comes up at camp. But, I think for both of you, I'm going to start with you, Bob, and I just want to reiterate this, how important, the word conservation is a big word, but how important hunting is to conservation, and this is what's happening right here today. So just give your insight on that, and I'm going to come to you with the same question.
Okay.
Now, hunting and conservation are synonymous to each other as far as I'm concerned. And, conservation, taking someone out, doing a good deed to help the farmer, passing on the harvest to hunters sharing the harvest. That all falls into play with conservation. Taking new hunters and showing them and teaching them and bringing them into the fraternity to do the same thing that we're doing right now. And that's what's great about the UBP and what they're doing with this 5C hunt.
Right, absolutely. How about you? What do you, when you think about hunting and conservation, those words are synonymous a lot. Yeah. I love to hear what people's opinions or thoughts or feelings are on it.
Yeah, well, I mean, my feelings are almost the same as what Bob, talking to these farmers every year, because we do go out and visit every farm every year. We make sure everything's still, a go at these properties. But, going out and talking to these guys, and every year you go out and talk to them and they say deer population's worse this year than it was last year. And hence we almost, 30,000 tags, I think, almost in 5C that we almost increased. It was 28 or 29,000 we increased 5C by this year. So, I mean, just in that number itself is a staggering number that tells you, that sends a message. There's definitely a deer problem down in this area, and that's, the big impact is on the farmers.
There is a time and place sometimes when you might have enough deer in your freezer for the year, but there is an opportunity that we can help people out there. And just talk about how, the event uses hunter sharing harvest. Yeah,
so, I mean, one of the nice things about, the early season hunt here is we've got people coming in from all over, and some people might have a pretty long drive home, and, we run a refrigerated cooler so that, when we do harvest the deer this time of the year, we get them into the cooler right away so that they don't spoil. And then some people don't want to take a chance on trying to transport the deer home, so it turns into just like, let's just donate it, and just donate the deer. So, right, it's voluntary to donate your deer. You don't have to donate your deer. You can definitely take it home if you want to. But fortunately, like 2 years ago, we actually harvested 15 deer. We had 15 deer go to the Hunter Share in the Harvest program. And when you count that it's 200 meals per deer, that equates to a lot of mouths fed. So,
yeah, absolutely. Hats off for that.
Good thing. So, yep.
And it's free to any hunter that wants to donate their deer to Hunter Share and Harvest.
Yeah, but I mean, there used to be a fee that you used to pay when you dropped your deer off. You had to give that $15 supplemental fee, but from very generous contributors, that have helped the Hunter Share and Harvest program, that's now free for a hunter. So you can basically just fill out a receipt and drop your deer off with the processing butcher, and you're good to go.
Yeah,
you
absolutely.
Just drop it off and go.
And I know, Bob, you obviously Hunter Share and Harvest is dear to your heart, and just talk about how important that is as for our entire state.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the thing that we don't realize is there are a lot of needy folks out there, and like I've talked to some of the processors, and they've told me that they're constantly receiving calls from like churches and homeless shelters. I mean, and this is the finest protein you're going to share with somebody. And again, as a hunter, we're all about conservation. This is a great way to give back. You're doing something that you love to do, and at the same time, you're sharing your harvest with people that are in need. It's really a neat feeling for me.
What is your favorite way to prepare venison? What's your absolute favorite?
I like to take the back straps, cut them into cubes, heat up peanut oil, put them on a skew, dip them in till they turn brown, pull them out, put some Montreal on there, and eat them. You never put any away.
Cholesterol free.
Oh.
Do you have a favorite, Dave?
Yeah, loins. I love to put Montreal seasoning to the same thing, and then do them on old-fashioned barbecue charcoal briquettes. I actually just bought a little Smoky Joe,
nice.
And do the charcoal better rather than on propane. It's always better on good old charcoal. So that's our favorite.
Yeah, Call of the Outdoors brought to you by Montreal Steak Seasoning today. So, but I mean, Montreal is kind of like Old Bay on seafood. I mean,
exactly,
it is definitely a staple.
Yep.
So earlier Bob was speaking about some of the mentor opportunities, and I'm sure you have some great mentor stories here that's happened at the doe hunt.
Yeah, well, I mean, we've had a lot of people come in, as we mentioned. There's a lot of guys come in here, bring mentees in here. We've had a lot of firsts here. We've had a lot of people come in here and get their first deer ever sometimes, or a first archery deer. But one of the great things is that we've had a couple of young men come in here. One of them's actually a county rep. Now he got a county rep for the UBP. We had shown him the ropes a little bit, and recently he's been mentoring another guy. So here you have a young man in his early 20s, and he's already working on getting some more blood into the sport. So that it's great to see that giving back to the sport, and you just hope that the guy he's mentoring hopefully will go pick somebody else up and take them by the hand as well.
When it comes full circle and just keep going around. That's
an awesome experience, and it's a great story for the hunting community. I mean, that's what it's all about, is giving it back and teaching somebody else the sport, and teaching somebody else how to enjoy the outdoors.
So UBP is a statewide organization. Well, it's a nationwide, right? Or is it statewide?
Statewide? Yeah, UBP for Pennsylvania.
For Pennsylvania.
Yep.
Okay,
UBP
Pennsylvania.
Yep.
I think we probably need to issue a challenge out there, don't we? For when you look at our state and how it lays, I think now would be time to issue that challenge.
Yeah, well, we've often joked about it for years, because we have the 5C hunt on this end of the state, and we were saying 2B comes in at the same time. So out in the western part, out by Pittsburgh, you've got the 2B unit comes in at the same time. So it would be great to be able to have a similar event to this happen out there, and we could have a nice little friendly competition between east and west, and see
and I think
who can harvest more deer.
Our commissioners could get involved in that as well, with your counterpart out in that part of the world. I think between both of you and your organizations and our commission, I think maybe we should try to make that happen next year.
I agree. I'd love to see that.
That's awesome. Well, we want to thank you from the Game Commission for doing what you're doing in all aspects, whether it's we talked about number one, the hunt, and what your organization has done for hunting, for bow hunting, and continues to do. Keep up the good fight out there. Keep going this. Whatever we can do to help you down here, let us know. In the comments below is going to be ways that folks that are tuning in that have interest in looking at what's available for for them and to get involved with United Bowhunters of Pennsylvania. And again, keep kicking it, because you guys are doing an amazing job. Thank you for having us out here today.
Thank you for being here.
Anything else that you want to tell the folks out there that may be tuning in?
I mean, hey, sign up with UBP. Come out here. Hey, anywhere you live in the state. I mean, we've had people come from Williamsport, wherever down. Come down here, hang out with us for a couple of days, and have a good time. I mean, it's a blast.
And you do have a qualifying round where you have to put 3 arrows in.
Yeah, we do a test, proficiency test, to make sure that all of our hunters are at least practiced up and ready to go. So yeah, 3 arrows at 20 yards and a 9-inch pie plate, and you're good to go.
He did that?
Yeah, amazingly. I mean, I don't know. I didn't see if there was any money exchanging hands, but yeah, Bob passed.
I mean, I got to clear the air, because a couple months ago I made a joke about Bob and turkey season, and he missed 2 turkeys. He only missed 3. No, he missed 1 turkey, and I said 2, and he's been mad at me ever since. But he's a good shot. I'm just kidding. How about you, Bob? Do you have anything else to say to folks out there?
Yeah, man, get involved in organizations like the UBP, and there's so many good things we can do. We need to make this contagious. We need to get more people involved in our hunting fraternity. So, UBP, do you have the website?
It's ubofpa.org, but I think they're going to put it in the comments.
If that's wrong,
well.
they can scroll down there and find it, because they gave it to us earlier, and I think that's right, though. I think that's 100% right. And just thank you, everybody, for joining in to Call the Outdoors. It was a great day out here. It's an awesome time of year. Their deer season's in here in 5C, and good luck to everybody that's heading out there this weekend. Like we said earlier, if you're getting off the ground, make sure you're strapped in from the ground up. We want you to be safe. We want you to enjoy it. And thank you for being a Pennsylvania hunter.